dialed in, but I'm going to wait just 1 minute and record the event. Okay, 3 minutes, so I will share my screen in case someone will be late and I will lose. I'm sharing. I hope you can see my screen. I think yes. Let's jump to my presentation. Welcome everyone. I would like to discuss today how a slow website burns budget and give the three simple solution. Presentation is focused on business aspects. It's not presentation dedicated for developers, so I'm not going to jump into the lighthouse and so on and go through the typical bugs and so on, CDN issues or server connections, DNS establishment and so on. I'm going to talk mostly about business aspects and how to calculate business impact of bad website, of slow website, bad websites on your business. I will try to give you, from my experience, three solutions how to improve website quality and how to fix typical problems we can face. First of all, I would like to show you the agenda. Our credentials, quantify web quality is the actual calculations, website degradation topic, good practices, and Q&A session. So first of all, I would like to tell you a few words why we have credentials to talk about that. I'm in the industry for almost 18 years, but for 15 years I'm running the company which is called refine.com. We have 15 years experience in web development for big brands, for example, Jaguar Land Rover, in more than 90 countries, Mazda, Inchcape, few other brands we have handled. We have in-house CMS, security, content management. Also, we provide hosting services and maintenance. So pretty holistic overview of multiple aspects of the good website from technical perspective. And I think it gives us the good credibility to talk about it. And I'm really keen to share some points from my experience. Also, recently we got award, Martyr Breakthrough Award for 2023 for a best content management platform to build website at scale. So for big corporations that operate in multiple markets. And in general, we have pretty good results. Giving you the example from Poland, we rank pretty good in the results of the 50 brands. We aim to reach top results, as our Jaguar website, for example, is currently ranked fifth place. So it's pretty good, especially that some of those brands are not premium brands. Okay, let's jump to the second part, quantify your web experience. So how fast website correlates with the money. Money is I think the crucial KPI from business perspective and the most understandable. So in this part, I will try to discuss correlation between fast websites, quality of the website with budget. And I would like to start with quotations from that very nice gentleman responsible for great quality of Japan products and total quality management systems. And quoting him, he said, "In God we trust, but we all must bring the data." So I want to bring some data and show you some examples. And also I would like to discuss those aspects because of the general mission we have as a company. Refine the web, we want to improve the quality, we want to improve the efficiency of the website, of the digital, and organization that focus on improving quality would automatically reduce cost. I think it's pretty important. while those that focus on reducing costs would automatically reduce quality and actually increase cost as a result. This is the quotation of Dr. Edward Deming. As I mentioned, we're responsible for Japan quality in general and total quality management from project management perspective. And I would like to discuss some of those points having the data. And I think this graph is the one of the crucial for this discussion. It's the graph created by our Renault team. We have our own source of data and our matrix of data that basically proved similar ones, but I don't want to share our clients' data. When someone other published that, I want to base our calculation today on someone else. Data published, not my clients. You have the correlation between largest conflict of paint and so the website speed general when you see the website and the bounce rate. Bounce rate is how many people bounce off your site. So when they are not interested and they get out of the website. Also, we have the conversion rate. So how many people click, let's say, form button, buy something in your shop, and so on. I will focus in general mostly on the bounce rate, which is simpler to calculate. I will discuss slightly how to calculate conversion rate into connect conversion rate with website speed. But in general, having those kind of results, we can confirm we have similar results. We see direct correlation between slow website and the bounce rate. Also, Google published that when you have the website about 5 seconds on the mobile device, the bounce rate is 50%. So that curve is pretty steep further. Above, based on the data, based on the research, above 10 seconds, you lose or almost 90% of the users. So pretty big amounts, especially on the mobile, is mostly visible. Also, this can slightly look differently when you, for example, have a government website and you, let's say, have to provide some information to tax authority and so on. You will wait, of course, longer. So those graphs and so on are for commercial use, not for, let's say, government calculations. But in general, the correlation is pretty obvious. And I would like to really calculate and what is it for me? How can I, from that graph, convert it to my actual money, to my actual spending, budget, marketing, and so on? So I would like to show you the pretty simple method. When we have slow site, there is direct dependency between your slow site, improving of that site, and your budget. And I will give you the one example. In general, you have 1 second loading time, extremely good. Still, you will have some bounce rate. It's obvious some of your people will bounce off the site. It's due to various reasons. They maybe found something different. They skipped it. It's always you will have some bounce rate. But I multiply the bounce rate by amount of visits you have. Let's say we have 100,000 visits. So we have 15,000 users that bounce. And to simplify this equation, I'm providing the $1 over there is cost per click. $1, how you should perceive that, it's cost per click for your campaigns. So you lost those users, and to recover them, to bring them back to your site in remarketing or any other possible way, you will have to pay to Google Display Network to recover those users in the remarketing cost per click campaign. So you lose these amounts of money. But I think this part is not extremely important. This is more. When you have 3 second loading, your bounce rate jumps to 28%. Multiplied by your visit, you have 28,000 users that, let's say, are guaranteed from statistical perspective to bounce. So it's $28,000. Still, this amount is guaranteed. There is always some inefficiency. There's increase of inefficiency. So calculation is pretty simple. changing the website speed from 3 seconds to 1 second, basically from your budget on 100,000 users will save you around $13,000. Considering calculation of that I calculated it based on the cost per click as a $1, which is, let's say, probably quite low, considering average cost per click about $3 for automotive industry, let's say in the US. So we can have different numbers. And just to explain you how to simply calculate that, even in your business, you can simply change that from that bounce rate numbers to conversion rate. So we see the drop in the conversion rate quite substantial, and let's say changing the website from 1 second to 5 seconds will drop the conversion by half. And we can also add it over there. So just calculating the half of the drop multiplied by visits, we will have the users that more, let's say double the amounts of user will drop, and we can multiply, instead of cost per click, into your actual value, customer value. Running the business, typically you know in e-commerce business how much each converted users, how much value in the revenue it's bringing you. So you can calculate that in case your website will slow down by 2 seconds, you will lose this amount and this of the users. On our tool, we are also calculating the results for each brand. And we consider that the calculation is built slightly differently. But for example, in Poland, we are not the best. We have still some space to improve, and we estimate our client that they basically 1% of the bounce rate they have on their campaigns is our responsibility. Still, it's pretty good. When you see the other brands, for example, BMW have some struggles, as I remember. They burn a bit more. So each campaign they have burn around 4%, and we estimate their size of campaigns and their traffic to be big enough to justify $41,000 a month of burned budget. So you can see that in this tool. This part of tool is free of charge. Drop us an email and we can create that for you. For your brands, we just need your competition, so who you compete against and which countries. In this example, it's Poland, but it can be also done for the whole continent and so on, to simply explain what are the implications of the website quality to your budget. Okay, and now let's jump to the website degradation. I think the topic of why it's important to improve should be clear at this point, and those data can be confirmed. And I would like to discuss why the degradation happens. I see or hear on the meetings with business people that in many cases they say to me why the business degrade, and they think, yeah, but our developers were not keen to improve and so on, or this and that happened, those servers, those hosting is slowing us down and so on. But I would like to give you my honest examples of the situations that create slow website. Slow websites are not created in most cases by day. So one day you have fast site, another day you have slow site. It can happen that something happened, but in general, your website is slowing down by a small margin, by, let's say, month by month, day by day. It's not a substantial change in most cases. I have some examples and we are going to dive into them. But I want to give you some live scenarios I have heard from clients working with agencies and so on. Example, we just launched our new website. It's amazing, it's great, it's converting amazingly. We should skip this CMS update. It's not needed now. We are just 1 month after the launch. we should not pay for this update. Let's wait for the another one. Let's skip this one. Sales department, after sales, other department are coming to marketing and asking, guys, please, we need this additional slide. We need additional menu button. Please add it to the navigation. We need to be on the hero banner with this campaign. It's affecting 1% of our clients, but we have to add this banner, and we have slider with more slides. It's also typical case. And you have the new campaign and your new media house, or previous one is just adding additional GTM containers, GTM stuff, and you are not removing the old one because nobody in the company knows what they do. So you just try to keep everything in the GTM in case someone used it, or other agency and so on. So we keep everything in the container, don't remove the old stuff. We just add new stuff, having the new campaign and not removing the old stuff. And also, what I have heard multiple times, there is no budget for improvement of the server side of the hosting. There is technical hosting improvement that will not straightforward convert to any metric. Basically, developers, sysops team can explain you, sometimes security aspects, but in general, it's unexpected. So were not planning in your company budget that in 3 months there will be an update of the hosting required and so on. So there is no budget for that. So let's skip this part. We are not going to invest in that because we don't see any tangible reasons to do so. And at the end, from that conversations, you have situation like that. So we had pretty great website in January. We just launched, and we skipped this update, and there was no substantial change. It was just 0.3 seconds difference. There was another one of those banners, additional stuff. Simple server improvements have not happened. It was not substantial. It was just 0.3 seconds. Then was GTM, one campaign, second campaign, and after a year, we landed in the website that is a bit more than 4 or 5 seconds, or in 2 years' time, instead of 2 at the beginning. And what is even more obvious and happened a lot on the market, and it's tragic, that when you have the contract, like 2 years' time contract with the agency, at the end, the website is slowing down because they don't care. They want to push you for the big update, big substantial change. Let's say, let's launch the new version of the website. Let's launch the new CMS. You will pay another 100,000 euro, Polish zloty, or any other currency. It's the waterfall management, so they want to earn big money, big ticket. So in general, it's not in the interest of agency to at some point have fast site. Only exception is that you pay them monthly and they are responsible for that. I will come to that a bit later. But in general, website degrades step by step by a few percent. And after 1, 2, 3 years, you have just a slow site, and you decide, okay, let's remove everything and start from scratch. Here's the typical scenario from our tool. I don't remember. It was Audi in the MENA region, I think. Step-by-step slowdown. It's not that collapse of the result. It was just 2%, another 2%. And what's the biggest issue? I think it's that just repair the issue here when they happen. So when you have this 2% slowdown, you need to think about it. Not here. After 2 years, your developers are going to tell you that, okay, this code is pretty old. We have completely no idea how to fix it. We already have this big spaghetti. We don't understand this spaghetti. Nobody is going to clean it. Let's build everything from scratch. And we have this kind of scenario. When there are small mistakes, small things to fix, it's possible at the beginning. Later on, probably with this kind of scenario as we see here, it's pretty hard to fix anything. We might have the situation like that, and the backlog of 50 not even issues, epics, to fix, like you have one of our clients. So the website was just launched, but there was already backlog of the issues, pretty substantial. Okay. And the other reason why the websites are slowing down, in many cases, you have probably heard that it works for me. Great. I fully understand, especially developers tend to answer it works for me. And why it happens, it's not that they are bad people and they are want to tell you that it works for me and make you nervous and so on. It just, in real life, it works for them. Of course it works for them. They have brand new MacBook Pro. They have all updates installed. They have 3 big screens on each of them. Your site and so on looks great. Campaign looks amazing. They have fiber internet connection and they have no malware because they are website developers. They don't let any malware and so on be installed on their site, on their computer. So they have pretty amazing setup. So in general, everything works there in this setup. In general, the website is quite fast. There are no big issues and so on. And they are testing that on the laboratory scenario. If I can compare, it's just when you test, have the F1 race and the teams are testing that in their laboratory and so on. It's this kind of scenario. But your real users, they are having slightly different setup. In most cases, it can be you know your user better, but typically 3-year-old iPhone with a battery that it's slowing down the iPhone already because it should be replaced, or broken screen, or LTE connection or slower. They are in commute. They're just jumping to the bus, jumping to the train, and they have to purchase something, click it. They have tons of tabs open, old application installed on their computer or iPhone, everything that is making that is causing the issues. So their setup is pretty bad and cause a lot of issues, and not everything is working well for them. Typical marketing manager, digital manager is somewhere between there. Closer to web developer. In general, you have not so bad computer and so on, not so bad setup, but still, even I run the company, IT company, my setup is not as good as web developer has. I have many issues and so on, and typically I have tons of tabs open and apps and so on. So my setup is completely different. And I would like also to show you a different aspect of that. Here we have the Toyota brand, and typically your developers are, or your company that audits you as a manager, you are located when your brand is, your headquarters is, let's say, Toyota Japan. From Japan perspective, their site is pretty good. 2.8, their closest neighbors 1.7. You don't feel it as a user over there. You don't feel any issues with your site, let's say in Poland. But how it looks like from global perspective, yeah, it's not so obvious. You can have one country which is amazing, others that are terrible. As we can see, even jump to Europe, it's the data from Google Chrome. It's real user monitoring. We are purchasing data from Google, matching that in our tool. So it's real user experience. In Poland, it's 4.0. So actual user experience is completely different than they have in some other countries. So the scenario can be that you don't feel it when you're, for example, in UK. You don't feel the issues that Toyota.pl has in Poland, and their experience there is completely different. And it's the place where you burn money, and it's substantial difference. And your point of sitting might be completely different, not where your users are in those countries. So your perception is really different than you have in that country. Okay, let me jump back to presentation. As I showed you, so we have this, and also correlation with the location, especially for the global brands. It's really visible. And what to do with that? How to monitor the website quality speed? You have two ways. One's individual test, laboratory test, as you have this F1 example. It's laboratory test. So we are testing one time what's happening on this laptop, on this connection, these sites. We can use Lighthouse, GTmetrix, web page test, typical tools, pretty good ones. Most of them are free of charge. Good for web developers to spot the issue, but basically they do not cover all your users. They are covering just this laboratory example. When you want to have real user monitoring, you should use Sentry, Dynatrace, Datadog, New Relic. In most cases, those tools are installed on the server side. On our example, we grab the data from Google Chrome, or we grab the data from the widget you install through the GTM. And we are, let's say, lighter of those. We are focused on the business people to drive their decisions. Those tools are typically focused on the sysops team, hard developers, backend developers, and so on, to track the real users and spot the issues. In many cases, it's for them it's just the issue in the system. For you, it's lost client. For them, it's just a graph. In many cases, the statistics. So it's why I'm making this presentation to show the slight difference, that for business people it's money, budget money, revenue, and so on. We try to focus on that, but they are amazing tools, all of them. We even internally use also Sentry, not only our tool, to spot the issues and check them. We use also Elastic and convert the data to our tool from Elastic. So there are different ways to do that. Good practices, how you can help yourself. I don't want to discuss those fixes and so on. Typical developer knows better than me what to fix on, let's say, one example. But from my experience, I want to show you how you can help as business people, as a managers, directors, and so on, to improve your site. There are few good practices. First of all, sign proper contract with web development. They need to be responsible. Agency have to be responsible for the result, not only one time, so not during the lunch, but also later on. And they should let you know in case your, I don't know, director asks you to add more slides. They should let you know, guys, we are adding that, but your website slowed down, and so on. So they should keep the responsibility centered and have that as the best scenario in the SLA. So SLA should include speed, quality, security, observability metrics, and also stuff like they are going to fix the website on their own in case it's downtime. They are fixing that because they have monitoring, observability, and so on their end. They are not waiting for your ticket. They are improving, checking periodically, and they have to do that because they have SLA. In case in SLA, we typically have that website should not be slower than that, and we have to provide information about that. Also, the agency or you should have proper monitoring. So real user monitoring is the best case scenario to periodically monitor what's going on, campaign, how it's handled, and so, or the main website, or on the agency, but it should be included into the status or QBR with the agency. So the agency should let you know periodically how is the website campaign performing, not only once at the beginning, but when you have the big campaign, you run it for 2 months, 1 month, you can have status, how it's performing in the Google Analytics and so on. You should include just one point. Is it still okay from technical perspective? There are no issues. Let's check it. Let's discuss one slide on the QBR, how we perform. Are we slowing down? Are we getting faster? You should have that in the QBR. And consider it seriously as a business. Developers, they have their own job. They have tickets to do. It's the business responsibility to have high quality website. It can be delegated through the SLA to the developers, but in general, it's the business responsibility. And you should know that it affects your business, it affects your revenue, it affects your efficiency, and you should consider that seriously. In case you have meeting with developers and they are showing you, okay, this graph, our website is slowing down or getting faster, and you just skip it. It's too hard. I'm not interested in technicals. they will not treat it also serious. So you should consider that seriously from business perspective. The second thing, I don't know if you know this book. It's amazing book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book is about improving your life basically by doing extremely small changes. So, for example, when you want to be healthier, maybe not healthy, just use the stairs. When you see the stairs and you have choice elevator, then go with the stairs. Don't try, let's say, to go to the gym and improve your muscles and make them big in 1 month. Just make your life healthier. So let's say you have choice to go to work by bike. You just know that you get out and you go to work, you go by bike. It needs to become your habit. It needs to give you the pleasure, but it should be small one, and don't try to, let's say, start exercising by, okay, I will buy the by entrance to the gym and I will go 3 times for 2 hours trainings. You can start with, let's just go have in the morning 3 minutes, not even 10, 2 minutes training. Just do some, I don't know, few push-ups and so on, and make it a habit. So you know that, okay, before breakfast, or I eat breakfast and then I do some push-ups and stretching, like 3 minutes. Someday you will decide, okay, 3 minutes is too short, I want 5, and I will go to the gym today instead of that, and so on. It's great, but it's a habit. So don't try to fix it everything by substantial change. Fix 1% every month and build the process around it. So ask your developers to have that on the QBRs, your agency to have to show that, to present the result, build it into the processes. So each sprint, your team is checking the result. It should be in the process as a habit. Remove old tags from the GTM. So clean the GTM, and also do that not once, but ask your agency, guys, you are starting the campaigns, what tags you are adding to the GTM container. The GTM can affect 50-60% of the website speed. The developers CMS can be responsible for 40%, hosting 10, GTM can handle 50% of the slowdown. So push your media agency, guys, you start the campaign, you added one, how many you add? 5, okay, 5 tags, great. Campaign is ending in 2 months. Here in calendar you have points, those tags have to be removed. It's part of your work, it's your scope. The same like launching the campaign is part of your work. Removing old stuff, cleaning after you, it's the same. It's, for me, it's the same situation as you have the construction guys. They come to your house, they make them huge mess, and they always ask them, guys, in your scope is cleaning after you. I'm not going to clean all the mess you are doing. At least basic mess, you have to clean it. It's part of your work, your job to do that. The same media agencies and so on should clean the stuff after the campaign. After 1 year, 2 years, of course, nobody will remember what this tag is doing, what is it for. When you have the campaign, you should clean it. Measure what matters. Use real user monitoring when possible. I have showed you a few solutions to do that. Or in case you cannot afford, you have no capacity, no capability, measure that in a consistent way. You can use Lighthouse, GTmetrix, web page test, amazing tools, but do that in a consistent way. When you use Lighthouse, use that every time, the same computer, network connection, and so on. When you use GTmetrix and so on, do that multiple times. Web page test the same, use the same server, and so on. It will give you some overview. Still, it will not tell you how your real user experience is. It will give you this experience from this server of this computer, not the real user experience. Keep in mind the money. It's about the money, not about seconds. So developers KPI, it's one thing. Real money is the other thing. Okay, it's the Q&A session, and I can show you also how we monitor. When you jump into the refine.com/JLR, we constantly publish the results for our clients and the dashboard, and we are presenting where we are performing great, where we are not always. In some countries, it's impossible to be better. It's also important to mention that we can have good results in 91 of our countries, Jaguar and over. We slowed down also recently, and we are improving now. We started to fix that. but you are not always capable to be amazing in countries in Africa and so on. As you can see, there is always possible slowdown, and sometimes it's not possible to just handle that. Your real user experience tell how your real users loading time was. In case they have extremely slow connections, you will have huge percentage of users with extremely slow loading times. It's obvious it can happen. You should investigate, but in general, it can be like that. It's pretty normal, but you should be just aware of that and check it out, what's going on. And we also try to explain and see the actual improvement possibilities in the money values, so we can, let's say, improve our clients bounce rate by 1%. So each campaign can have a bit better bounce rate. I know in many cases 1% is not huge, but considering big traffic, I don't know how big the campaign is. It's just the technical reason, and the Polish websites, for example, are pretty fast, so there is no big space for improvement. As I mentioned, giving that example, Audi.pl, they have bigger issues, and they have bigger space for improvement. I think they burn around $30,000 a month, and they have huge space to improve themselves. It can be done. Okay, do you have any questions? I need to jump back to probably, instead of sharing screen, to the stop presenting there.
There were two questions.
Yep. How does the web speaking impact affect different industries? Does it differ so far? It can. It really depends on your numbers. You can measure having the real user monitoring. You can check how it's going on for you. You can have actual data in the tools as we have, convert your real users and your conversions to your data. So it's possible to count. So it can affect in general different industries. As I mentioned previously, for government and so on, let's say your tax authority, probably you will wait as long as you have to. They then don't care. So effect on them will be different. On e-commerce, it's more direct. I think it's pretty important that you see directly the connection. The funnel channel is pretty short, so you are able to spot the result pretty quickly. You improve the site, you just see the result basically when you measure that properly. The next question. Yeah, the tool I mentioned is our tool. Share the competition and so on with me, and we are capable to show you your competition and your results gathered from Google data, or provide you a widget, and you can have the proper real-time user monitoring. But the real-time user monitoring is not free of charge. The basic one tool is free of charge, so you can share that, and you can share that if you are from agency with your clients and so on. Okay, and I had those two questions, and I think I have covered. I have one more. Yeah, yeah, Mike, you are completely correct. In terms of controlling the agency or subcontractor job, yeah, I think it's good tool. I showing that we are the agency, and we provide it for our clients. They can control us, but we still have that in the SLA in our contracts. From the controlling perspective, I think it's pretty important on the landing pages. In general, big brands have the control over their main sites, but they skip the control from landing pages. Media houses, other agencies are launching the campaign on in many cases, different domains. On the provider, let's say it's a pharmaceutical industry, they cannot launch on their own domain the campaign, so they, let's say in Poland, launch the campaigns under the pharmaceutical companies, and they lose control because having the new relic or other real user monitoring, basically you cannot control the external server. It's why we try to build a tool to simply spot the issues, spot the gaps for the campaigns, and help in this kind of situations. When it's under your platform, you have extremely good developers. You don't need to control them internally. New Relic and so on, it's also an amazing tool and it's great. So also, as I mentioned, internally we will use Elasticsearch with the real user monitoring extensions. We use also Sentry. It's amazing. Sadly, it's not explain our clients or that are business people at all anything what's going on. And I hope it's explained when you. I think it's not about even trusting the provider. When you have the SLA, when you have the control tools installed, it's transparent with everyone. It's just a great way, and the subcontractor and so on agency knows that there is no hiding anything. Everyone knows that there is controlling tool that is working. It will flag you the issues. Everyone knows that it starts to become more transparent, and the point of the discussion, you have the data, you have the money calculation, it becomes obvious. Okay. Questions? Yeah, we will share the data. Martina, I'm going to show in case you will send me the competition and the countries you are keen to check. We will generate the space from real user monitoring data, and feel free to share that. It's free of charge. And that's all. Okay, I think I have covered all the question. We are ahead of time a bit, so 44 minutes, 46. So I give you, in case you have other meetings after that, I give you some time for coffee. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. I hope it helps you understand how to calculate on your own, or how we can how we can help improve the website quality. It's basically our goal. We want more companies to be aware and improve the general web and how it operates. So thank you very much.